Hello again. I am prompted to talk about the subject of YouTube and their policies because somebody who comments here has seemingly had his own channel deleted. This was a channel devoted to making fun of me by means of editing clips of me so that I appeared to be wearing funny hats and so on. The soundtrack to these clips included farting noises. I had no objection to this, but it appears that YouTube did. And now some people feel aggrieved that I am able to continue making videos and this unfortunate individual is not. Another reason that I am mentioning this is that the person who ran the channel claims that his comments here are being deleted now. If that is so, then it's not being done by me. I do get a little annoyed at the suggestion that I am deleting comments. The only comments I delete here are those which advertise dating agencies, which I suspect to be a front for prostitution, and ones which are promoting investment opportunities, which look to me like scams. I can guess what is going on though, and thought it might be interesting to talk a little about how not to annoy YouTube and get your channel removed. A subject upon which I am something of an expert, I fancy, since it is now a whole year since I've received a strike from YouTube and had a video removed. I must be doing something right. One thing which I am doing is, of course, producing lots of videos which people like watching. YouTube like that. It is, after all, the whole purpose of YouTube. I don't encourage violence or incite hatred, so that's fine. All I do is make videos. I don't like to boast, but last year there were 45 million views on this channel. Now let's consider people like those who run channels which are set up specifically to attack me and this channel. There are a few of these channels and they tend only to get a few views. However, those who hang out in those places make an awful lot of complaints to YouTube about me. 3 people, to my certain knowledge, boast of complaining about every single video I make. Since I typically turn out 3 a day, this means that such people are complaining to YouTube over 1,000 times a year. We know that YouTube regards their complaints as baseless and frivolous because they have not in the last year issued any strikes against me, removed any videos or suspended me. So who do you think is likely to be more popular with YouTube? A person who got them over 45 million views last year, or the one who made 1,000 pointless and dishonest complaints to them that they had to waste their time investigating? I hope people are beginning to see why they might be a little ticked off with some of those folk and ready to crack down on them and remove their channels. I think that there's also an explanation here for why people's comments are disappearing, because YouTube do tend to notice people like that. If you complain to YouTube 1,000 times a year, they're going to be keeping an eye on you, I think, and you're perhaps more likely to get your comments given some attention. I don't really know why I should be giving these people advice so that they can avoid getting into trouble with YouTube. Perhaps because I think it is healthy to have some people bitterly opposed to my viewpoint. I was sorry to see a channel like that deleted, even if it was really puerile and childish. Then too, some of those who complain about 2 or 3 times a day are already skating on very thin ice in other areas, and it wouldn't take much for YouTube to come down on them pretty hard. Let me explain. Suppose that I started using as my handle on YouTube the title Racist Murderer. Do you think this might cause people to raise their eyebrows a little? I'm perfectly sure that it would. But hang on, perhaps instead of suggesting that I am a racist murderer, I might be hinting that I murder racists. Wouldn't that be more acceptable? To that extent, the username might be ambiguous. If anybody thinks this sounds completely ridiculous, then let me assure them that one of those who is regularly sending malicious and false reports to YouTube about this channel uses the pseudonym Racist Slayer. That is actually the title of his channel. To my ears, This sounds every bit as awful as if I called myself racist murderer. But the person using this name for his channel wishes to convey that he slays racialists rather than that he is actually a racialist slayer. See how this is going to end? Sometime soon, perhaps after the 1025th silly complaint, somebody at YouTube is going to notice that name and use it as grounds to remove the person's channel. I do not want to see people's channels removed, even those who say silly and untruthful things about me. I've said before, it is only by having many people talking freely and saying what they please that truth emerges. I am, however, very much afraid that if some of those folk carry on as they are doing, they too will come a cropper. I would be sorry to see others share the fate of Bob Wilkins. My personal view is that everybody should be allowed to express their views freely on the internet, always provided, of course, that they're not inciting violence or hatred or conspiring to overthrow the government or anything.